What is going on, everybody? Happy Saturday night. I have some very special guests as part of an elite panel here. We got Mikey Magic from Fortran Express. We got Mr. Danny Huber from NYYU. And we got the legend NFP from the Strike Zone here. We might have a couple of more people joining us as well in this panel. We're going to go over the off season's winners and losers. And you folks, let us know what your thoughts are. Chime in if you want. Welcome, John Hurley. I want to say thank you before we get rocking and rolling. Welcome to the family, brother. Jake Bosch, shout out to everybody in the chat. Alex Frino, Stephen B, Neil, Billy, Clemenza. All right. Yes, indeed.
Consigliere in the chat.
The Consigliere. Is the Consigliere in here? He's not in here yet, is he? Not yet.
Okay, well.
So we're gonna have them in here. The made men are gonna be in the chat, so we know this already.
Yes, they are.
Dave, Jonathan, there he is. Yeah.
David Cohen.
You said Blake Snell was supposed to have signed. But gentlemen, so let's get to this. We can round table this too. We'll see who else. We'll see who else hops in. We won't waste any time here. We're gonna get you folks right to the action here, okay? And smack the like button, by the way, if you haven't done that yet, please. And please hit the sub button. And anybody on this screen, if you haven't subscribed to anybody's channels on the screen, please do. Everybody on here, please subscribe to the guys in here. Please subscribe to Dave, to Mike, to NFE. Okay? We got a tight family here. We're going to keep this growing. Cisco, John Abreu. All right, gang. So let's go over the winners and losers this offseason, okay? How about we start? Want to start with losers first? What do you think?
Let's do it. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, because Mikey Mez said he's going to get some flack, so we're in the mood for giving Mikey Mez again some flack here. So,
you know what?
First,
let's stir the pot a little bit.
Stir the pot. We may not all agree, and that's totally fine. You folks may not agree. That's totally fine. So it's good to have these different perspectives here. That's why we're going to do these panels. So, Mikey Mez, I'm going to turn it to you. Okay, give us your losers. You can give us one. You can give us all. And again, we might have a couple.
I'm going to give you all of them.
So go ahead, Mike.
I'm going to give you all of them. So at number 5, I've got the Mets, only because of the fact that they're coming off of 2 bad contracts with Verlander and Scherzer, and they've been kind of hesitant to do some stuff. They've signed little pieces here and there, but nothing really that says we're improving. So that's at number 5. At number 4, I've got the White Sox. The team's a dumpster fire. They had multiple chances to be more realistic on offers or asking prices for guys like Dylan Cease. They didn't do it. I get it. They have to sell high on them, but they didn't do it. The team's a dumpster fire. It's going down in flames. And at number 3, I've got the A's because they just don't put any money into the team at all. So why should they get any sort of love at all? That team is sinking faster than the Titanic. So we'll leave it at that. Number 2, I got the Blue Jays. They had a chance to get Ohtani. They didn't. Not their fault. He wanted to go to L.A. Fine. They had a chance to get Yamamoto. Didn't get him. Went to L.A. Fine. But they could have still pivoted to try to trade for Cease. They could have tried to trade for Corbin Burns. They could have tried to sign Cody Bellinger, but they didn't make that effort. On the contrary, what they did was they signed Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, nice little signing for them, and then they got Kevin Kiermaier back, which was a good thing that they got him back, but they didn't do enough to really improve the team. And then at number 1, which I'm going to get a lot of flack for, and that's fine, I have the Dodgers as the losers of the offseason. I don't care that they got Ohtani. I don't care that they got Yamamoto. They still have holes that they have to fill, and they did not fill them. They improved their pitching, but they didn't improve everything else. They spent over $1 billion on 3 guys. They're now tied up in money, and they're now trading off pieces to try to offset the money that they've spent. They haven't filled the other pieces or the other holes that they needed. So just because you get the 2 top players on the free agent market or on the trade market does not mean you've improved. And folks need to understand that. Just because you get the top players on the market doesn't mean that it's going to be what solves your problems, your other issues.
That's a fair point.
Which they have plenty of issues.
That's a fair point. And I want to ask all you guys before we move to Dane. What do you consider winners? What do you consider losers? What's your interpretation of it? The team, just so that the folks in here know.
Teams that improve their chances to win a World Series, I consider winners. Teams that didn't get any better, I consider losers. And I think some of the biggest losers are players also. Yeah. The Scott Boras clients are probably the biggest losers in this entire winter. Matt Chapman just signed for, what was it, $55 million or something incredibly
54.
cheap. 54.
3 years, 54.
And he turned down $100 million. Blake Snell, who won the Cy Young last year, is still sitting out there unsigned. That's a loss for Scott Boras and him. Jordan Montgomery, who had a fantastic playoff run, is still out there, and he doesn't have a team either. So that's a loss. But I think the biggest loss is probably, I would say, the Tampa Bay Rays. They didn't improve. They lost Wander Franco. They traded Glasnow and the other Manny Margot.
Yeah.
Right. So they didn't get better in a division that's already a lot stronger with what the Yankees did and already having the Orioles. So I think the Rays are going to have probably the biggest problem this offseason this season in the AL East.
Good points, man. Good points. I think some of us are going to be on the same page here. And NFE, I'm going to turn it over to you, man. What are your thoughts?
Yep. I mean, my failures, I mean, it's pretty obvious. I mean, because there's been a few teams out there that really didn't make any moves during free agency. They made a couple, but nothing, for us to be like, whoa, look at who they added. So the most obvious one, right? Sunil pointed it out, even though they're not my team, Sunil, but it's the Colorado Rockies. So that's one team that didn't do anything this offseason. They made no additions. They made a couple of moves, but nothing, significant.
Buckeye.
Buckeye.
King of Texas. All right. Keep going.
And then, I'll keep going, man. And then the other obvious one is the Oakland A's. Did absolutely nothing.
As usual.
As usual. The Oakland A's never do nothing. And Mr. Coconut says the Rockies never do anything. They only do something like every 10 years. I mean, they're only good every 10 years. And it's a damn shame because their stadium is awesome and the fans are into it, but it's just, Rockies. But anyway, I digress. So Rockies, A's, Nationals. That's the other team. Big failure. They haven't done a thing this offseason either. They didn't do anything to improve their roster. My fourth team. So, and mind you, like these teams, it's not in any particular order. I just was going down the list of teams and I'm like, these are the 5 teams that I think failed.
Mm-hmm.
So number 4, the Miami Marlins. Yeah, they added Tim Anderson, but what else did they do? Like, I'm just trying to figure that out. That's another one. So the Miami Marlins, to me, they didn't do anything. And then the last one is the New York Mets. So the Mets made a few additions, sure, but nothing to really improve their roster. Yep. That's what I think. I don't think they did anything to improve their roster. So those are my 5 teams that I think are failures. I mean, they all get an F for me. So that's what I think.
That's fair. And I have a question for you. Are we also mentioning the Mets because they keep talking about them signing Soto at the end of the season? So we got to stick it to one way or the other.
Well, I don't Yeah, and Dane's shaking his head, and those are my sentiments too. It's like I don't know, man. And he, Dane and I want to bring up something that Dane said about Scott Boras being a failure. He was an absolute failure. So now he's probably, and I'm going to use my line, he's probably kicking rocks right now. So yeah, he's probably kicking rocks right now. It's just he shot himself in the foot, and he didn't do his.
He shot his clients in the foot.
Yeah, he shot his clients in the foot too. So it's just like, what are you doing?
He did a lot of them a disservice. JD Martinez is still not signed.
Yeah.
Hyunjin Rio's playing in freaking Korea, so he didn't get a job in America. So, and the two pitchers, like Dave said too, Montgomery and Snell are still without a team. So that's a massive disservice.
It's a shame.
Right.
And it's
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, but yeah, those are my 5 failure teams right there. I just feel like those 5 that I just named off did absolutely nothing to improve their roster.
And what we have to remember is the Yankees were the only team to offer Snell a contract, and Correct. He turned it down both times because Scott Boras said, "No, that's not enough. There's no room for negotiation. Kick rocks."
Yeah, Yankees told him to go kick rocks. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So, look, man. I said the other day they didn't let Snell fall through the cracks. Snell and Boras let the Yankees fall through the cracks. Okay, the Yankees did
exactly.
They did their part. There's nothing they need to do further right now. Nothing. So
they shouldn't bid against themselves.
Yeah, deuces for Snell at this point. Deuces for him. And I'm with Dane too. Like I'm fine. Like I'm happy with way Stroman pitched today. I have a decent feeling about this rotation. They could be pretty damn good. So I don't care one way or the other if they sign Snell. One way or the other. I really don't.
It doesn't matter to me.
No.
It's not the end of the world if we don't get him.
I would so much rather. I'm sorry, Jason. You got a super.
I was going to say thank you to the King of Texas, man, for the super chat. I appreciate you. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah. As far as Soto goes, I got to bring this Mets thing up again. What in the world makes the Mets people think that he's going to go over there? I don't know how many people have seen him this spring training, but he's got a smile on his face this big, and he looks like he's home. Why is he going to go to a team that's basically rebuilding in Queens when he has Aaron Judge to hit in front of for the next 7 years?
I haven't heard him say yet, man. I cannot wait to play with Brandon Nimmo. Can't wait.
Right.
It hasn't happened yet, right?
You're right. It's just like, come on, guys.
Let's wake up a little bit.
Yeah, it's me. I mean, but they can poke us all they want. He's a Yankee right now. That's all that matters. So,
that's all I care about.
That's all that matters. And the Yankees are going to win more games than the Yankees. So,
what about you? Who are your losers there? Or
all right, so I'll take it to it. Since some of these similar patterns here. I'm going to go back from bottom to top. Number 5, the fans of Oakland. They can't sink stuck in the butt. Vegas doesn't even want the A's now. Fans of Oakland, the Oakland A's ownership. They want to go to Vegas. Vegas, we don't want you. No. So, that's a unfortunate loser. And that's nothing to do with the fans. I'm sure they're great fans, but they're getting hosed by the A's left and right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I'm bringing up what Dane said too, Scott Boras clients. They're losers across the board. I'm sure they're good players and stuff, but they're still without jobs. 60% of his clients are still without jobs. Yep. It's crazy at this point. So now the teams, I'm also going to go with Tampa Bay, right? There's a pattern this season too, and one of the things that I've said early on is that the Yankees won more. They have improved more than any team in the league, especially the East. Okay, and the Tampa Bay Rays, they did lose Wander Franco. They might lose them for good. They lost Glasnow. They lost Margot. And yes, they have prospects, that can probably replace these guys over time. But they have, on paper and every measure, gotten worse than they were last year. And they've lost 3 difference makers in one offseason. That would be like almost the equivalent of the Yankees losing Judge, Rizzo, and Cole. So they're definitely the losers. Then I'm going to go back to Toronto, to your point too, Mazza. They're another one for me. Okay, yeah, they had an opportunity to get Shohei Ohtani. They did not, okay? but they could have pivoted. They lost Matt Chapman too. So I'm
Yep.
like, who did they replace these guys with? Justin Turner, who's 39 or 40, IKF, a reliever, and that's pretty much it. They didn't counter with any type of moves or aggressiveness. And you have
Jason, don't forget they had a chance to get Cody Bellinger too.
and Bellinger too. And these guys might lose. They might lose Bo. They might lose Vladdy too. So like, and they're not going to surround these guys with any players or any type of better personnel. That to me that's a rough one, man. So I think they're the losers. And then the other one's Boston Red Sox. Boston Red Sox for me. I mean, they moved Chris Sale, sent them to the Braves, and they replaced him with Lucas Giolito. Okay, what else have they done? It's a net loss for the team for me in Boston. For Boston, and again, they've got Theo Epstein there now, and new ownership, and as an advisor, and they're not showing any type of
urgency.
Now, they signed Jordan Montgomery, okay, but as of right now, they're still on the loser list for me. Red Sox. So every team that I put out is in the American League East.
Yeah.
Losers. Every one of them. We know that the other teams, like, the White Sox are dumpster fire, but like, they're always a dumpster fire right now. So, like, what other teams?
Yeah, but I just felt like
notable situations. Like, noticeable losers. You know what I mean? If you look at the other divisions, I mean, you could add the Angels on there because they lost Ohtani and didn't do anything to replace the guy. You could have had Bellinger, you could have had Matt Chapman, you could have had Snell. Like, you didn't do anything. What do you want to do? Joe Adele? Like, freaking Shohei Ohtani, right? So you can add them to the list too.
Oh, Jesus.
Like,
that was good.
What other bat are you going to, Donovan Solano? Who are you going to bring in to replace Shohei Ohtani?
Maybe Anthony Rodon could decide he cares about playing baseball again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
really.
$35 million a year to give them the middle finger every year. So
that Rendon situation. I mean, I want to touch up on that real quick. Like, we won't spend a lot of time on it, but I made a video about him recently, and I'm looking at it from both sides. I understand where he's coming from with priorities in life, but it's like at the same time, dude, you're getting paid
millions and millions of dollars.
Millions and millions of dollars. Then, if you feel that way, then step away from the game, man. You know what I mean? And if you did, I respect you for it.
Absolutely. And here's how I look at Anthony Rendon. He has become Josh Donaldson 2.0. Doesn't give a fuck about anything. Is injured all the time, and is making millions of dollars.
$35 million a year, man.
Yeah, 35
I think
million
he's
a year.
more. I think he's more Carl Pavano. They just doesn't want to play. At least Josh Donaldson wanted to play.
Right.
That's fair.
In Donaldson's defense, he didn't want to play. Sorry. Go ahead, Dean.
I understand Rodon being about his family and his faith. I can respect that. But he's also getting generational wealth from playing baseball, and he doesn't even attempt to try. It's why I hate contracts being completely guaranteed in the major leagues. If somebody was talked like that on the NFL, they'd cut him.
Yeah. Yeah. And the Rays have to pay Juan DeFranco every time of his contract right now. He can play again. This is an Albert Bell situation. He had to retire early due to degenerative hip. The Orioles had to pay him $15 million a year for a whole bunch of years to not play.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's a travesty.
That's
Whereas
insanity,
you can sign a $100 million deal and 50 of it's guaranteed. Right off the bat, it's not fully guaranteed, and then they can add
insanity. How much was his extension, Franco's? Like $440 million or something?
No, it's like 200, something like that. I think it might have been
220 or 225 or something like that.
Right around for 12 or 13 years, and he was 20 when he signed it. So they're paying the guy $15 million a year for the next decade, and he may never play again.
Yeah, the Rays are screwed for a while.
That's a terrible situation. They got to figure something out.
They got to see they void that contract.
They have to figure out how to do it. Like, they were at the very least, they're able to suspend Trevor Bauer without pay, right?
Right.
But the Dodgers still have to pay him the rest of his money. But while he was suspended, he didn't get any pay. But the Dodgers still owed, when they reinstated him, the Dodgers still owed him that money. So, and A-Rod got suspended without pay for a year. They didn't have to pay him. But it's stuff like that where the contracts are not insured. And Ken Rosenthal said, he alluded to this, there isn't a clause that allows a team to just opt out of these contracts.
No, there's not.
In his situation.
That's crazy.
He's having a relationship with a 13-year-old. Like, it's crazy, man.
And then one of the other issues is that he was having a relationship with another 13-year-old, and the mother was allowing it.
Yeah, it's just crazy, man. Wasn't he paying her to be quiet or something like that?
Yeah, and she took the money without
the
any
mom.
hesitation.
He wanted to buy the 13-year-old so he could train her in the ways that only he could love her. It's a really disgusting story.
Like,
I'm not saying nothing because it's just the whole thing is just disgusting. So I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, Rays, man. I'm glad it's not the Yankees that have to deal with that.
Really.
And the funny part, it was this close to being a Yankee. Wander Franco, when
True.
Mm-hmm.
He was the number one prospect in baseball, and he was a good player in the major leagues.
Yeah, the Yankees had him signed for like $7.1 million that class, and then they redid the CBA where you only got a pool allotment, and we only got $5 million, and the Rays still got their $7 million, and that's how he ended up a Ray.
Look at that. Look at that, man.
That's scary. That is scary to think about.
Yeah. But, I mean, to the Rays' credit, I mean, they have a great pipeline of developing players.
Yeah, they do.
Mm-hmm.
Four of their top 5 prospects are infield prospects right now. So he'll be replaced, but right now they're net losers for this offseason. So why don't we transition into something a little more uplifting, the winners?
Yes.
Mike, I'm going to turn it over to you, Mazza. Give it to us. Give it to us, baby.
At number 5, I got the Royals. I get the Royals as winners. They've spent money on their team. They got a nice mix of youth, a nice mix of experience. But what makes them winners for me is the fact that they locked Bobby Witt Jr. up.
Yeah.
The fact that they locked him up makes them winners for me. Had they not done that, that wouldn't even be a discussion. Bobby Witt Jr. is what makes the Royals the Royals. Now that Cleveland and Chicago are both, who knows what the hell they're doing. Detroit's still not there yet. That division is wide open. Minnesota has lost pieces, so you can't really say Minnesota's going to be any better because now that division's up for grabs.
Yeah.
So I got the Royals at number 5.
Yeah.
At number 4, I got the Cubs. For the simple fact that they got Shota Imanaga as a piece for that rotation, which is a nice piece for him right behind Kyle Hendricks. They re-signed Cody Bellinger. So the fact that they brought him back already says that they're serious about making a run at that division and trying to stay on top of the heap. And the fact that they are now bringing up younger kids like Pete Crow Armstrong, who I think is their, number 1 prospect or number 2 prospect?
Yeah.
1.
Okay, their number 1 prospect, and giving him that shot, that to me says that they're serious about winning and bringing in the youth as well as the experience. At number 3, I got the Giants because they brought in Matt Chapman from the Blue Jays. They got Jung-Hoo Lee. They who else was it that they got? They had
Soler.
Soler. I mean, they brought in Eli's favorite person, Robbie Ray.
That's right. That's right.
Parade on.
Oh, there he is. There's Rob.
Rob.
What's up, Rob? So they have done stuff to improve,
Yeah.
but the two biggest pieces were Matt Chapman and Jung Hoo Lee. Those two pieces really make them better. Soler just adds to that. At number 2, I know this team didn't do much, but it's the Orioles. Just for bringing in Corbin Burns to really add that frontline starter to go right in front of what's his name? Their pitcher
John
that's
Means?
coming back.
Means?
Yes. In front of John Means. Now they've got a rotation of Burns and Means as your top 2. That is a very formidable top 2 in the American League. And I would put that up against any rotation, including ours. Even though ours is this really strong as well. And the fact that Corbin Burns is there, he's going to be able to mentor John Means. And I like that. That's going to help mentor a younger pitcher with a guy of that caliber. So that helps. And then obviously at number 1, I got the Yankees. Just for everything that they've done. Bringing in Soto, bringing in Verdugo, bringing in Grisham, bringing in the smaller pieces like Poteet and Morris. And then the trade with the Dodgers where they got Gonzalez and Vivas. So all those moves alone, all the moves that they made this offseason, they spent very little money. Don't forget Stroman. They spent very little money this offseason and upgraded their team tenfold while still filling in the holes. And they then, on top of that, replenished the depth that they lost in the Verdugo and Soto trades. So for me, they are the number 1 winners of this offseason.
Take that. Before we pivot to Dane, Sunil did bring up a point. The Angels did bring in Aaron Hicks. So they did bring in the Thunder. Mike Trout.
Mr. Strikeout? Mr. 150 strikeouts a year?
That's right.
Mr. 30-30 in his mind alone.
Yeah. 30 strikeouts, 30-pound balls. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing I was sitting down when he announced that one.
Yeah, no kidding.
I would have fell over.
I think I did, actually.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that would have been. That's worse than a rear naked choke there, Jason.
Yeah.
Texas, thank you again, Texas. Now we're going to turn it over to the man, Dane, for his thoughts on.
Before Dane goes, I just have one thing to say. We be trolling.
You could
real
quick. You could ask Rob on Twitter, on X or Twitter.
Yes.
Rob and I am constantly trolling, dude. Like I'm just like, all right, I could do this trolling thing too, but I just wanted to point that out.
Troll everybody. Man.
I think I've seen it, a few of them.
I got in on one of it too.
I saw that.
Yeah, you did.
So I got 2 teams that I think are winners. I have Baltimore for getting Corbin Burns. And another reason why I see them as the winners, they didn't give up any of their major league pieces or anything that's going to affect their team this year to get Burns.
Absolutely.
Huge win for them. And I think they're going to be our biggest competition for a long time. The other team I have is the Yankees, and then some players on the Yankees. Obviously, getting Juan Soto was the huge win of the offseason. I really have begun to like the Marcus Stroman move because he wants to be here. And I think that he is a winner himself for getting to come play where he wants to. I think Aaron Judge is a huge winner in all of this because he gets Juan Soto to bat in front of him. And one of the biggest problems with Judge the last few years is there hasn't been anybody on base to drive when he's on at the plate. So having someone that gets on base 40% of the time in front of you is huge.
Yeah.
But I think the ultimate winner is Jason Dominguez because he gets Juan Soto to mentor him. And there's no better mentor for Jason Dominguez than Juan Soto. I think he is the biggest winner out of all of this because of what he can learn from Juan Soto. I don't know.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
It's a great point. Really
and
is.
I have been saying that there would be no. And I've said this even before Soto got traded, and I know you guys can attest to this, that who would be the perfect mentor for Jason Dominguez, and it was Juan Soto.
Mhm.
And I said that, so I'm glad Dane brought that up.
It's true. These little things, man. These little things that aren't talked about matter. These little things.
Absolutely.
I mean, go ahead, Eddie. The floor is
Now,
yours.
okay, before I give my takes, there's an echo. It just somebody, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, because I muted my mic, but at one point, and the echo was still going. So just I don't know who's it coming from, but
I'm gonna mute my mic. Tell me if it's me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hear an echo right now. Oh,
Let me mute myself too.
yeah,
I'll do the same.
cool. Yeah, I don't hear nothing right now, so we're good.
I think Maz. I think it's you, bud.
Is it?
I think so.
Are you on your phone?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm on my phone.
That could be it because I've done.
All right. I'll mute it.
You're good, bro. I just wanted to, yeah. All right. So my winners, right? A little similar here. So definitely the Baltimore Orioles, right? Because of the fact that they got Corbin Burns, and like Dane said, they didn't have to give up a lot to go get him. So that was a great addition to their team. The other team, my second team, Kansas City Royals. They quietly made some additions in the offseason, you know, and Maza and Jason can attest to this. Watch out for this team. Watch out for this team. They made more moves than the other teams in the NL Central, and don't be surprised if they finish at the top of the division. So I'm just and they locked up Bobby Witt Jr. right to that contract extension. So they added Michael Wacha. They added Seth Lugo. So they made some moves. All right. And that's a team, again, everybody should watch out for in the offseason, or excuse me, in the regular season. Number 3, I actually had the Seattle Mariners. They actually, they made some pretty decent additions to their team too. I mean, they did trade for Jorge Polanco. That was a good trade. And they did fill up their infield. So I liked some of the moves that they made. So as far as the AL West goes, that's a team to watch out for. LI for getting absolutely yes, good job. Hopefully the Yankees could go after Kyle Freeland. That'd be an ideal pitcher for the Yankees. But so the Baltimore. So okay, my list is the Baltimore Orioles, the Kansas City Royals, Mariners, and then I will say the San Francisco Giants as well, because I mean, yeah, Kyle Freeland 2024 Cy Young, absolutely, Rob, you're absolutely correct. But yeah. So yeah, the San Francisco Giants. I mean, they made some additions to their team too, and I'm just imagining a scenario where they add Blake Snell to that team. If they add Blake Snell to that team, they are definitely going to be contenders in the NL West. I still project the Dodgers to finish at the top, but do not be surprised if Arizona gives them a hard time, which I think they will, because Arizona made some good additions.
Yes, they did.
And that was another team that I was like, they made a couple of good additions to their team, because they added, Jock Peterson and who's their
Eduardo Rodriguez.
Eduardo Rodriguez, yeah. So, so now that I'm like thinking about like Giants and Diamondbacks were like a tie for me. So, because it was kind of hard. Both of those teams made some additions, and obviously the last one is the Yankees, right? I mean, yes, am I being biased? I'm being biased, but so Rob is saying Yankees, Dodgers, Royals, Giants, Diamondbacks. Yeah, yeah. So I'm not saying the Dodgers. The Dodgers made the Dodgers made some great additions. They did. They made a couple of good additions. I know Mike Miles is like, yeah, whatever. But but the Yankees made that's my team. Like obviously number one Yankees, just because they made some additions, right? And they traded for Juan Soto and Trent Grisham. They traded for Alex Verdugo. They signed Marcus Stroman, and they added a boatload of pitching to the team, even after they lost a lot of the pitching with Boston, San Diego, and then during the Rule 5 draft. So Billy Branch, I would love to see that too. But but I want to keep this in mind, right? A lot of people think that the Yankees aren't making like World Series moves, right? And I've said this many, many times. Adding the big names doesn't always guarantee a World Series. It does not. I don't want to keep going back to 2023, but it's like adding big names does not equal a World Series. So as much as people wanted to trade, to sign guys like Josh Hader, or go after Dylan Cease or whoever, or Corbin Burns. I mean, don't get me wrong, having Corbin Burns would have been great, but not for 1 year. I would have loved him for like 3 years. But getting big names does not always guarantee a World Series. And the Braves had the best record in all of baseball. They didn't win anything. So the Yankees made smart moves and, improved their roster greatly. So, and we're seeing that in spring training right now. So it's a night and day difference. I'm excited where this team is going right now. And, you're seeing it with the pitching, and you're also seeing it with the bats too. So Yankees are looking good right now. So
Good points, brother.
Yeah.
Good points, gentlemen. All right, let me give you my list.
Yeah, let's hear it,
Number
man.
5, the Atlanta Braves. I don't know if anybody's thinking about the Braves.
Okay.
They added Chris Sale. They traded for Jared Kelenic.
Mm-hmm.
They also added Aaron Bummer to the bullpen. So areas where they were kind of faulty last year, they've addressed them, and they addressed them pretty early in the offseason. So they're quietly one of the winners on my list. And I think they're going to be just as formidable as they were last year. They're going to be, they improved around the margins, which is probably where they needed to improve. So they're on my list. And obviously, the San Francisco Giants are on there. Matt Chapman, they added Jorge Soler, Jung Hoo Lee, Robbie Ray, and they also added Jordan Hicks. Okay, so there's another piece, and they're apparently going to try him out in the rotation. I don't know.
Yeah,
What do you think? What do you think, Dane? I don't know.
I don't know about him as a starter. He was such an effective reliever. It's just a little weird.
I don't want to mess with something that's working.
So I know I know that Jordan Hicks was a starter in the minor leagues, but ever since he was brought up to the major leagues, he's always been a reliever. He's always been a bullpen guy.
St. Louis did 1 year, you try him out as a starter, and then they're like,
Right.
It wasn't working. So then they put him back in the bullpen. So I don't get where San Francisco's going with that, and I don't understand why they're using him as a starter, especially since he's had so much success as a reliever.
I mean, unless they consider him as a less expensive route, as opposed to signing a guy like Blake Snell or Monty, but who knows?
There's Michael Lorenzen.
Yeah.
There's Michael Lorenzen.
Sure.
That's a cheap version of those two. So
they are in
probably would have been cheaper still. Would be my guess.
They are in on Snell, the Giants. So my guess, and this is just a wild guess, is if they bring in Snell, then Hicks is going to be in the bullpen. Period. They won't need him in the rotation because they added Big Daddy Robbie Ray. So, and if you bring Snell, exactly fits up all day, baby. If you add Snell to that, to me, that vaults them over the Dodgers. I'm gonna have them on the list of the winners this offseason, the Dodgers, because of the stuff that they've done. They also did not bring back Julio Urias, who he may not be back in baseball either. So not taking a risk on him. They did bring back Clayton Kershaw, right? They got Yamamoto. They got Ohtani. They've already traded away Margot. Who else did they bring in?
Then they traded Margot. Just want to put that out there.
What's that? What'd they do?
Then they traded Margot to Minnesota.
Margot to Minnesota, and they just brought in
They traded Margot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kike is a good veteran bat who can platoon there. So they're on my list of winners, but they're not number one on the list of winners. So I'm also with the Kansas City Royals. And let's go through the list. And they brought in Seth Lugo, Michael Wacha, Kyle Wright, Nick Anderson, Chris Stratton, Will Smith, reliever. They also brought in Adam Frazier and Hunter Renfroe. So some valuable incremental pieces here. And I think they've done a heck of a lot more than the other teams. And AL Central, I think, is a wide open division. It's a weak division. And I think that the Royals have done enough to be contenders, at the very least in their division.
Absolutely.
And again, when the playoffs come, it's 0-0 for everybody. Hot teams get cold. Cold teams get hot. You never know what's going to happen.
Hi, Grace.
And
Hi,
again,
Grace.
Hey, Grace, how are you? The World Series did not even have a division winner. They were both wildcard teams, the Rangers and Diamondbacks.
Yes.
You never know what's going to happen in the World Series. So I think the Kansas City Royals are on this list, the Giants, the Dodgers, the Braves, and obviously the Yankees. And I'm going to mention two guys that we haven't mentioned yet. It's Brad Ausmus and James Rosen, the Yankees. They brought in a complimentary bench coach to me who's he reminds me of a young Larry Boa, the fiery guy to get him in places to complement the Zen approach from Aaron Boone, right? And I don't think he's going to have to get in a lot of players' faces because the aura on this team is different. This team looks more hungry, more focused, more disciplined. And
the chemistry is a lot different.
Chemistry's different. Yeah. I mean, you could see, and James Rosen's been here for like 2 months in Tampa working with some of these guys. And you can see differences in Volpe's swing. It's more level. Stanton's swing, it's more level. So he's already taken, incremental approaches to improving these guys hitting their stances themselves. And I feel like this team's going to be a heck of a lot more efficient and a lot less wasted energy like we saw last year. So those two guys are valuable pieces. And obviously you got Soto, Verdugo, Grisham. You got the works. I mean, they boosted their bullpen. They boosted their infield depth, their outfield depth. It sounds like
their rotation.
Their rotation. And Marcus Stroman, and you have a healthy Carlos Rodon, you have a healthy Nestor Cortez. So the Yankees are set up in a lot of different ways to be very competitive. And again, I can't think of a team that's done more than the Yankees, not even the Dodgers. So the Dodgers may have made high-end moves, but the Yankees made the high-end and the volume.
I'm glad you brought up Volpe because if you take this year from last year, Volpe had a lot of holes in his swing. Grace, what's up? It looked like when he was swinging, a lot of the times his hips were flying open and his hands were drifting. So he was either late on pitches or getting under pitches, and he wasn't staying through the pitch.
And to your
point,
this
year, it looks like he's staying through everything, and his two-strike approach is a lot different than from what it was last year.
And to your point too, which is a very important point. Last year he spent a lot of time. It looked like he was trying to overcompensate for the lack of production we had on the offensive side. He felt like he had to do much more than he needed to do, and he was a rookie and he wasn't ready to do that yet. So now he's surrounded by a much better lineup, much better roster.
He's got more protection.
Yeah, and you have guys like Soto who's going to make so many guys in this team better. So it doesn't really matter if you bat Volpe 8th or if you bat him leadoff. He's going to have guys after him that's going to drive him in, no matter where you bat him in the lineup. We couldn't say that last year.
No.
You could just walk, judge, and nobody else is going to drive the guy in. So
something else I just thought of is, how we say Soto would be the perfect mentor for Dominguez?
Mm-hmm.
The perfect mentor for Volpe could be Verdugo. because he's a slap ball hitter. He sprays it all over the field.
Mhm.
He has a nice level swing, and that could be a nice mentor for Volpe, not in the sense of like position wise, but hitting wise, because Verdugo's been around the league for a little bit, so he's seen major league pitching before. He's got a good two-strike approach. He knows the strike zone, so that could be a nice compliment to Volpe.
This is true too.
Can you
And to
bring
your
up
point, somebody
JJ's?
is saying, go ahead.
I was
Go
going
ahead.
to say, can you bring up JJ's comment over here? I'm sorry.
JJ. Where are you at, JJ? This one here, Michael King?
Yes.
I was just going to say that. Michael King, they brought Luke Weaver, Cody Mark, Cody Poteet. Like, they have guys here who can act as a Michael King now. Ian Hamilton can act as a Michael King. So, yeah, we'll miss him. But remember, he what did he have, 6 starts?
Yeah.
Yes.
6? So, it's not like it was a full season. You know, I liked him. He was great, but I mean, would you trade Soto for Michael King? No, you would trade
No.
Michael King for Juan Soto. So, I mean, that's just the way I
So-
look at it. You got Juan Soto.
Yeah,
So-
that's
Yeah, it's
the
gotta
other thing
hurt.
is
say to JJ, we got Juan Soto.
the
Yeah,
other
got
thing
Juan
is
Soto. I mean, we got a generational player. What more do you want?
the
I would-
other thing is baseball is not about disrespecting people. It's not about people's feelings. Baseball is a business. So if you get traded, you get traded. It's not
Yeah.
about disrespecting somebody. It's a business. And this is what happens. It was a
Yeah.
business decision that was made to better the team. Michael King could be the nicest guy on the planet for all we know. Okay? But it was a decision to better the team.
Yeah.
It is a business. We are not here to make friends. We are here to make money and make our team better. And that is what we did by getting Juan Soto. So this is not about disrespecting them.
And to your point too, JJ, like this, you know, at the time when they moved Montgomery, they brought in Harrison Bader. They needed an elite, elite
They
defensive
did
outfielder.
real bad.
And he carried the team in the postseason when Judge was hurt. So he
Yes,
did
he
his
did.
part. Unfortunately, we didn't know that he was going to get hurt most of last year. We didn't know that Montgomery was going to turn into Sandy Koufax in the postseason either, but he
No.
did. So that's just the way that the situation was. I mean, they addressed the need. And again, he was never that way with the Yankees, Montgomery.
No.
So Texas brought something out of him that wasn't brought out before. So kudos to them. Kudos to him. But he's not going back there.
No, he's
So-
not.
And
I see him going to Boston now.
yeah, I can see him going. I can see him going to Boston. I mean, he could go to Philly.
His wife is there
Mhm.
doing her residency at
Harvard Medical.
Harvard, I think.
yeah, that's right. So that's where he wants to be.
Mhm.
Um,
He would be a good fit there.
yeah, he would.
And
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
And
He-
yeah. Oh,
go ahead, guys. No, go
no,
ahead.
I was just gonna say to JJ, I was like, they could pitch to Rizzo. That's fine. Rizzo's been killing at the spring training, and he's gonna be fine. He's gonna be fine next season. He was doing good in 2023 before his head collided with Tatis's ass. So
Yeah.
as long as his head doesn't collide with Tatis's ass or anybody else's ass, he's gonna be fine. So
And again,
Didn't Rizzo just hit 2 home runs last night?
yes, he had a grand slam on one of them.
look good.
He
And
does.
again,
He looks so much better.
Marcus Stroman was ahead of Blake Snell in the Cy Young rankings last year before he got hurt too.
Yeah.
So, and he's
Mhm.
healthy now. And so we have both of these guys here, and they're healthy. So I'm not complaining at all.
I'm very excited. And I'm very happy with how this rotation is filled out. This is the deepest this team has been. We have a great problem on our hands. We have an overabundance of infielders, outfielders. We even have an abundance of pitching, which we have not been able to say for the longest of times. So
And the deepest
we've got a good
position-
problem on our hands.
Go ahead, Dane.
The deepest position in the whole farm system might be catcher too. So
We have a lot.
we have a lot of promising catching coming up as well.
Yep. A lot of promising catching. I mean, even in the near the nearer levels, what you've got Ben Rice, right? We've got
Ben Rice,
there. You've got a lot of guys.
Augustine
Narvaez.
Augustine Ramirez is someone I'm very, very high on. I think he's going to be a really good player. Reminds you of Salvador Perez a little bit with the swing and the power.
And Salvador Perez turned into a monster 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Monster. And now
50 home runs.
He made MJ Melendez was one of he was his heir apparent, but he made MJ Melendez almost irrelevant with his production. And I mean, may still come in there, but that 48 home run season by Salvador Perez kind of put the doubters to sleep.
That put the kibosh on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's crazy, but I mean, and the winners also I think were Aaron Judge and Garrett Cole. I mean, they were able to get in Hal's ear in a way that they haven't been able to do before.
They got in Hal's ear.
Yeah.
They got in Hal's ear, and guess what they got? They got the results they wanted.
Yeah.
It's that simple. And how long have you been saying, Jason, that Cashman is known for making the small moves like a Clay Holmes or a Cody Morris or a Cody Poteet, and it turning out good? We've been saying this for the longest time. So, like NFE said earlier, it does not have to be the sexiest name or move.
Sure.
As long as it's a move that is going to be helpful, that's what counts. As long as you get depth, that's what counts. Because then if you have depth and you have an overabundance of something, then you can maybe move some of that depth in a trade later on down the line.
True. And it looks like they spent a little bit more emphasis on bringing in the right fits here this offseason.
Yep.
And whereas they didn't do that before. They brought Verdugo's a good fit here. Stroman's a good fit here. Soto, Drake Grisham, good fits. It changed the whole chemistry, changed the whole aura of this team. So we needed that.
Soto looks like he's got new life.
Bad.
Yeah.
He looks miserable. He's going to the Mets. Just forget about Soto.
Yeah, he's going to the Mets, and we're gonna end up getting Kyle Freeland and Robbie Ray. No,
don't forget, hey, NFE, don't forget about Patrick Corbin too.
Yes,
I was just going to say that one.
Yeah.
Get me Patrick Corbin.
I do want to. Yeah. Our there you go. I did your happy dance there, Rob. Showing at the party too.
Yeah.
I did want to add to this too. You know, I think it was. I think it was Mazzo that was talking about. You know, that they were in Hal's ear. I mean, there was a night and day difference when Aaron Judge was interviewed in the last game of the season. You saw his body language. You saw his face the whole entire time. You could tell, like, on the inside, he was boiling. Like, he was.
Yeah.
You could tell he was boiling. So
he was embarrassed that his team.
He was absolutely embarrassed.
Completely failed.
Absolutely failed. So when he had his press conference a week ago, almost a couple of weeks ago, much happier.
Complete 180.
Complete 180. They listened to me. They heard me out. I told them to go trade for Alex Verdugo. They got Alex Verdugo, right? And
I tell them to go trade for Soto, and they get Soto.
Yeah, but
Easy
you know
day.
what? The Yankees have been on Juan Soto for a while.
Oh, no, I get that. But I'm saying, like, to get the deal done so they can actually bring him over is what I mean by that. Like, I know they've been on Soto for the last 2-3 years. That's been apparent throughout baseball.
Oh, yeah.
But they were never as close to getting Soto as they were this year until they got him.
Right.
To Grace's point, too, I think that Vivas may have leapfrogged Oswald Peraza as
absolutely
obvious replacement after the season, because Gleyber Torres is going to a contract year, so he's motivated to play well, and if he gets a big has a big season, he'll get paid from somewhere, and rightfully so. But we, at the very least, have a more credible built-in replacement now.
Yes.
Vivas.
Yeah.
So,
And also to Grace's question, so sorry, Anthony.
You're good. You're good. Go for it.
Yeah, I think that they are going to let him walk, Grace. I think that with the way Vivas has been performing this spring, and I know NFE, you're extremely excited about it, and I know Jason, you are too. I am as well. I'm not sure how Dane feels on Vivas and how he's done, but I
Too
think
early for me to say.
fair enough. I personally think that with this being towards his walk year, I think they are going to let him walk. As much as I would love to bring him back, I don't see it.
yeah, there's too much infield depth too. There's
If
too many
Tor-
guys that shouldn't be blocked anymore. Like,
Right.
and
If Torres
You've got
has
guys
a-
like Eric.
no,
Go
if
ahead.
Torres has a year like he did last year, he's going to be 27 years old as a free agent. I would think that he would get at least 25 million AAV pretty easily. And I just don't think the Yankees are going to extend him for 6 or 7 years at 25 million per. One of the other things I wanted to bring up that's about the Yankees is, I don't know if you guys saw this, but they brought an MIT trained analytics person.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I saw that.
I think that that's a move that's going to be so huge that we aren't talking about enough, because that's what Judge and Cole both wanted, was someone to pass the analytic information down to the team in a way that the players could use it. And this guy used to be a coach. He understands analytics probably better than any of us do. And he's the guy that Judge and Cole both wanted in that position. I think that's going to make a tremendous difference for this team.
Absolutely.
yeah, they have all these smart guys, the Yankees, but none of them can communicate this information effectively to the coaches and the players. This guy, Aaron Liner, is able to do that. That's a huge difference. Huge difference.
Here's the other win that the Yankees have, and this I haven't heard being talked about at all. And the other win that the Yankees have this offseason is the fact that they now have repaired whatever damage was done. So whether it be chemistry-wise or just if you look at the players, right? If you look at it now and you look at guys like Soto and Rizzo and Judge and Cole, they all are grinning from ear to ear.
Yeah, man.
With how they look much more loose. They have that swag back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they
They
do.
have the swag that they have so desperately needed.
Yeah.
So the fact that they have that swag back is a win in itself.
Send fishing off the MIT. Yeah. Yeah. Trade him. And Sean Browning, dude, if they re-sign Soto, I would stuff my face on live TV with the Big Mac and the apple pie. I would just rifle it.
Jason, I have a proposition for you if I can.
Go ahead, man.
They re-sign Soto, and you do a live stream. I will get a Big Mac and apple pie, and I will eat it with you on the live stream.
Deal. Done. It's done. I'll freebase it. I'm just gonna rifle it.
My thing is usually like a sandwich from chicken sandwich from Wingstop with some cheese fries. Yeah.
You want to come on with us and rifle it down? You can do that.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
I introduced Maz, and I don't know if you've ever tried this name, and I don't really do this very often. We're pretty clean eater, but the Big Mac apple pie combination it's divine, right?
I've never tried it. I'll have to do that.
I'm going to tell you, Dan, I'm going to tell you this. The day that we traded for Soto, right, and that it was announced, okay, when I got off the boat from detachment and we were on the beach for a couple of days, I went to McDonald's, got myself a Big Mac and apple pie, and ate it.
Oh, my God. You're stuffing awesome inside of awesome, okay?
The day we got Soto, we were online for 13 hours, and I was moderating the whole thing. It was a long day.
I Yeah, I can't do the Big Mac and apple pie. I got to watch this figure, bro. So just playing.
But yeah, I mean the off season has been great. So we have to be thankful for that. We also have to be thankful for the fact that the Yankees woke up and did what they had to do to get those pieces in.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. God, yeah. What is
Oh, that's the other thing. That is the other thing. The key piece towards being a free agent is this. He is not represented by Scott Boras.
No, he's not.
He is represented by Octagon Sports.
Yep. Yep. But he'll get. I would imagine if he plays well, he's going to get like a Marcus Simeon type deal. 7 years,
Yes.
175. He'll be
Mhm.
4 years younger than Simeon when he signed it. So I would not be surprised if that happens at all. And I could see it. I mean, I wouldn't even know who would sign him. I mean, there's some teams out there that would sign him.
Uh,
Trying to think. I don't think
maybe the Cardinals,
Cardinals.
Maybe.
Miami.
Miami's not going to pay him because they don't want to pay a rise. They just won
Right.
their arbitration case against him, and now they're only paying him 10.4 when he wanted like 11.2.
True.
Seattle.
Seattle, I could see Seattle doing it.
True.
This might come as a surprise, but I could see the Giants maybe doing it.
Giants.
What about the
Giants-
Angels?
No, they have Estrada, and then they have that shortstop coming. That's
Oh,
really,
right.
really good.
Yeah.
What about the Angels?
No,
No?
Angels aren't smart enough to make a move like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
never mind then.
The Mets. Forget about it. They're going to sign Soto next year. So the Mets.
Yeah, he's guaranteed to be wearing 22
Bring
for
JJ's
the
comment
Mets
up
next
again.
year.
What was
JJ?
JJ's comment?
Where is Yamamoto's agent said agent of Stanton persuaded him not to sign with the Yankees. He openly said so. Oh, really?
Who's your source?
Who's your
I
source?
didn't
Who's
hear
your
that.
source?
Name
mean, I
your
haven't
Who's
source,
your
heard
JJ.
source?
I haven't heard that one yet.
That could be your opinion. Maybe.
Yeah.
If that's your opinion, that's fine. But if it's
As long as
something
it's
that you're
your
saying
opinion.
Yeah, we've had enough of that go around the Yankee community.
And I honestly,
let's keep that to a minimum.
at this point, I don't really care that Yamamoto's not
Yeah.
here.
I don't
care.
either.
So, let
Yeah,
him,
Wait,
Can I
who's
ask-
Yamamoto?
yeah, let him strike out.
My response.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Sure.
Of course.
What do you think about the swing changes Anthony Volpe has made, and what kind of impact do you see that having on the roster?
It's going to have a major impact because I think he's going to be more consistent. And that was the problem with him last year. Is he was consistently inconsistent. So now I think that his swing changes with it's James Rawson, right, Jason?
Yes.
Rosen.
Okay.
Yeah.
James Rosen, I think, is going to be a real difference maker for him. I think he's going to get to the root of the problem. He'll study film with him, and he's going to make the adjustments needed. And I think it's going to be huge for the roster because now he doesn't have to worry about hitting, 30 home runs every year. He can just worry about getting on base and stealing bases.
My man, Joey Bag of Donuts from the Shifters in the house.
Joey!
Joe. My boy Patrick.
Joey!
You boom. I think to add to that, Mike, I think I think his batting average might go up 30, 40 points. I think
Yeah.
250.
240, 250.
I could see him.
Go ahead.
I think he'll hit 260 this year. I think he's got to. It's going to take him a couple of years before he gets to that 300 plateau, but I think, or even that 280 plateau. But I think with the James Rosen there, it's going to be a step in the right direction.
And I think with his ability to put the ball and play more and have a more on base percentage, he's going to give the other guys more run producing opportunities. So it's going to help the lineup in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
And I think
Agreed.
he's just next step in his development as a sophomore.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
we get-
Rosen.
you know, I think Rosen to me is like a hybrid between Lawson and Casey.
Casey.
So,
Yeah.
Lawson resonated more with the young kids. Casey resonated more with the veterans. Rosen's building a rapport with everybody. So,
Yeah.
and you can see it already paying off. In
Yeah,
spring.
you can.
So, and I don't really.
I mean,
care.
look at Rizzo's swing.
Yeah,
Look at
Well,
Rizzo's
Rizzo
swing.
went
And I'm
to
going to
work-
take Rizzo for.
Rizzo went to work with Judge's swing coach, not Rosen, though.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but I'm saying I'm putting Rosen to the side for a second. But if you look at guys like Rizzo, their swings look a lot better than what
Yeah,
they
they
did
do.
last year.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, Rosen's been working with Judge. He's been working with Oswaldo. He's been working with Gleyber Torres and a bunch of these guys. And even if you look at the Glayway channel, you see him in the cage there with them, doing stuff with the boys. So, and he's
Yeah.
that rapport to develop with these guys is really important for the team.
Yeah,
I'm really happy. Wasn't he the bench coach for Detroit?
Rosen?
Some kind of
Rosen?
coach.
Yeah,
I would think it
Yeah,
was for
Rosen.
Detroit, yeah, I think it was for Detroit.
I think, yeah, Detroit. I
Pretty
think
sure.
Lombard's dad's the bench coach there, though.
yeah.
Mhm.
He is.
I was gonna mention too with with Volpe. The thing is, he's not. He was trying to hit every ball like a home run. Like he wanted to hit a home run every time he went up to bat. Like he was acting like he was, Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton. It's like, dude, that is not your job. Like that, if you hit a home run, great. I'm not going to complain. But your job was to get on base, steal bases, create opportunities. And with James Rosen, the
Who
thing,
likes it, gang?
yeah, get him
Those
up,
likes
get him
it,
up, get
please.
him up.
Try to get to 100 if we can. We greatly appreciate it.
Yeah. The
Keep
thing
going,
with,
ladies and gentlemen.
yeah, no, it's all good. The thing I like about Rosen is that he doesn't have like a one-minded approach. It's not just hit the ball hard. That philosophy doesn't exactly work, and he's working with every hitter's ability. Like he's working with their strengths, working on their weaknesses, seeing where improvements can be made. And you're seeing that with Volpe. Rizzo is hitting pretty well. Giancarlo, he's not too bad, right? He's been playing. He's been playing a little better. And I've been saying that Giancarlo, with him slimming down, I think he's gonna improve.
Yeah.
Especially with the injury. Like I'm strictly talking.
Absolutely.
He's
Did you
so
see the way he got out of the box the other day? He actually looked like he could run.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he doesn't look like Steve Balboni anymore. You can.
I'm telling you, slimming down does wonders to your body. I'm talking from experience here. Like it does wonders to your body, especially as an athlete. It does wonders to your body. So
you could check swing a 400-foot home run.
Yeah.
I'd rather have him a bunch of level swings and hitting a bunch of balls in the gap because there's so many other guys that he could drive in. I'd rather him get 21 home runs and 90 RBIs.
Yes.
with Giancarlo?
Game. Yeah, I mean, I don't care if he gets
100.
21. Driving more guys in.
Yeah.
Shows the other guys are getting on base and the Yankees are scoring more. It's just a net help to the team one way or the other. Would I like him to get 30? Sure. I don't care if he doesn't.
And when he turned on that 97-mile-an-hour fastball, that was a nice sign that he was.
Yeah, man.
His bat speed was coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's adjusting to his stance. He's got to get his legs under him a little bit differently now. So it's going to take him a little while, but he's so strong that he's going to, and he's so talented. He's going to come around to the new posture, new swing, and figure out the adjustments that he needs to make. So all swing to do it. He's got part of the season. But if he stays healthy, I'd rather have him in there than, Frankie Cordero or.
Are you bringing up the Fantastic Four?
Huh?
Fantastic Four. You said
yeah.
Frankie Cordero?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Calhoun.
So my Fantastic Four is Franchi Cordero, Willie Calhoun, Billy McKinney, and Trevor Bauer.
Trevor Bauer.
Jake Bauer?
Or Jake Bauer, excuse me.
Jake Bauer,
That's
yeah.
what I meant.
Jake Bauer.
Jake Bauer, yeah. That's my Fantastic Four.
Speaking of Jace Bowers, did you see the kid we got back for him? Avina or
Is it Jason Vina?
yeah, it is Yeah.
Yeah.
He had
Yeah.
2 doubles in the same game. I mean, he's a legitimate prospect, and I was shocked that we got a legitimate prospect back for Bowers. This is a
Yeah.
good trade.
Yeah.
Cashman just finds those gems, man. I'm telling you,
He really does.
He really does. Yeah, Cashman and those scouts, they find those gems. So
Yeah. I mean, God, he's
It's
turned.
unbelievable.
Yeah. Jeez Louise. He's
yeah,
turned Trey Sweeney into Yorbit Vivas and Victor Gonzalez, and then they got Caleb Ferguson too. Like, I don't even know who they gave up for Caleb Ferguson. I don't remember.
They gave up Matt Gage
Matt Gage. That's right,
Yeah.
Matt Gage. So
yeah.
and Zazuda. Sorry,
Zazuda.
Sasuda and Gage went over to LA for Caleb Ferguson.
And think about this: they gave up Joey Gallo to get Clayton Beater.
Clayton Beater.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, some folks want to talk about some. And Ron over here says Beater for Gallo was a masterclass. Yeah, exactly. So, and I said it, but yeah, it was an absolute masterclass. But you know, for anybody, for certain folks want to say that Brian Cashman is not creative. I'm like, are you sure about
Let's
that?
get real.
He's been pretty creative. So let's tread slowly on that.
Let's pump the brakes there for a second there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I actually
So-
think this is one of Cashman's better off seasons overall. I
Sure.
mean,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was probably one of the more methodical off seasons that the Yankees have had in a long time. One of
Yep.
the more
Very methodical.
strategic off seasons, like in
Yes.
2009, we like to compare, but like they went out and got everybody. They got CC, they got Teixeira, they got AJ, they got Damasa, they got Swisher. That was,
Right.
and again, their payroll was half it was what it was now.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
the competition level in the AL East was different than it is now. So it's a whole different ball game now. He's playing with different money. He's playing with different tax structures. They didn't have the luxury tax penalties back then. They have them now.
I think Hector's backstage, dude.
Is he?
What?
Oh boy! Oh boy!
Hector.
Heck.
What
up, my
up,
guy?
brother?
I'm gonna give him a Jigga salute.
Hey. Sorry for being late. I'm just running around packing up, getting my last things I gotta get before I head out in the morning. I got an early flight, like 6:30 in the morning to Florida.
Oh shit.
I wish I was going with you, bud.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, me too, Dane. Me too, Dane. Next year, we gonna get him next year, Dane.
Yes, we will.
For those that don't know, in the chat, Hector's going to be down in spring training for a little while, spending some time
Yes,
covering
sir.
the Yankees. He'll
But then why
Nice,
wouldn't
man.
be giving us the
Yes,
intel.
sir.
I think it'd be fantastic, man. Salute to Hector.
That'd
be
man. We were going over the winners and losers of this offseason. You have anything you want to chime in on that, man?
Oh, I would say, obviously the Dodgers, they've had an amazing offseason. I think the Yankees are second, behind the Dodgers. When you look at all the additions the Yankees made, besides Juan Soto and Marcus Stroman, there's been like some little minor pieces here and there when it comes to the depth of the team. And I think that goes a long way in a 162 game season. I would say the loser of the offseason, and I'm not saying it just because I'm a Yankee fan, right? But I will have to say the New York Mets. They had a lot of expectations coming into this offseason. We heard all year we was hearing Ohtani's coming to Queens. Steve Cohen's gonna get Ohtani. Nothing happened, and now Met fans they're praying that Juan Soto will be a Met next year, and they're dreaming and they're delusional. So enjoy the Yankee Mets that you got with Luis Severino, Harrison Bader, and Luke Voigt. Have fun with that.
Yeah. That's true,
And
man.
their coach used to be our bench manager.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a fact too. I forgot the coach of the manager, Mendy. I forgot good old Mendy.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, we got a lot of folks, right? Giving us the Juan Soto coming to the Mets talking points. We're getting left and right, but
I hope they enjoy that dream because they better snap out of it because that ain't happening.
yeah,
Facts,
man.
Mazda.
How better sell the team if he can't re-sign Soto?
Basically.
Seriously.
Basically, you don't let Juan Soto leave, and if you do let him leave, You don't let him leave to the New York Mets or to the Boston Red Sox. That's the
Yeah.
one thing you can't do. If Hal Steinbrenner and Brian Cashman thought having an 82 and 80 season was a bad PR move for the team, then letting Juan Soto sign with the New York Mets would be the ultimate bad PR move.
You know?
Facts.
So true, man. He better get a second job as a paper boy or something to make some extra funds, man. What do you think? Just I'll round tables around you guys. What do you think Soto's contract's going to look like this offseason? Go ahead, Mike.
14 for 590. Or no, sorry, 13 for 590 with an option for a 14th.
I have 14 years at 43 million a year. So I think
What was that? Okay.
I got it at anywhere from 13 to 15 years, 45 million. He's already making 31 million this year. You got to expect Gleyber Torres is not going to be back with the team. He makes about 14 mil. So you take his 14 and you add it to Juan Soto's 31. That's 45 million right there. You times that for the next 13 or 15 years. Give him some opt-outs. That way when he's 29 or 30 years old, he could go back into the market and probably get another big max contract.
Don't forget when if he does resign to stay with the Yankees, you'll be getting a lot of those plátanos from the Bronx.
Yeah,
Oh,
fact.
God.
Your Mazda, bro. Your Mazda, bro. You laughing over there? I'm about to pull a scene from the Goodfellas. I make you laugh, bro. What about me amuses you? Do I make you laugh when I talk?
Amusing to you?
I
My
got
God.
I got 600 for 12.
Yeah,
for
what?
Soto. 600 million.
600 for 12.
Which would put
50
him at
million
50
per.
million.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, it's possible.
Yeah. I'll give him opt-outs after, year 5 and then year 10.
Okay.
Thanks. Shout out to the chat. I see a lot of people in the chat. Shout out to the chat. I see FL Diver, Jonathan, everybody who's in the building. Appreciate you. Make sure you smack that like button. There's a good panel with some handsome men on the panel. Sorry,
Including
Mazda.
you. Including you.
Though.
It's Magic
Not
Mike
you,
4
Mazda.
right here, man.
Definitely
JJ,
Magic Mike right here.
JJ Soto's not going to turn into Trout, and Trout isn't a bad contract. He's just been hurt
JJ,
because of his
stop. Oh my God, JJ, you're gonna give me an aneurysm, JJ. For the love of God, man, stop already. He's not gonna turn into Mike Trout.
We don't need those. You can never put. You always gotta have injuries in the back of your head, right? Anytime you invest that many years and that amount of money into a player, you got to always have injuries being a worst case scenario. So you never want to see that, right? Yeah, the Mike Trout injuries, especially over the past 3 years, you never want that. But when Mike Trout, when he first busted on the scene, he was probably one of the most healthiest players in Major League Baseball for how many years? How many years in a row did he play in so many games back to back to back? It's not. It wasn't until recently that the injuries popped up with Trout.
Yeah.
True. I'm going 14 for 45 to 50 per. I'm going to say this. Boris is going to ask for 700. I'm not saying he's going to get it, but he has the argument to ask for it now.
He will.
Otani's gotten it.
He's 5 years younger than Otani.
Yeah.
And honestly, this is just me, but he's got a better bat than Otani.
Oh yeah, that's no argument. But I think when it comes to Scott Boras, Jason, and you let me know if I'm off base, but I think Scott Boras in 2024, he don't have the same magic like he had back in 2005.
No.
I think the owners are tired of his game, and they just waited. Look at it. None of his guys got any big time contracts this offseason.
Yep.
None of them.
Yep.
Bellinger got a 3 for 80.
Yep.
Chapman just got 3 for 54.
Yep. He's like Austin Powers without the mojo, man. He lost his mojo. So,
and if Blake Snell doesn't sign for more than $100 million, if Blake Snell signs 3 years, $90 million, not one of his big time clients signed for over $100 million this offseason.
True.
Good
got
point.
Yeah, Scott Boras misread he misread the market, man, and he shot himself in the foot and he shot his clients in the foot too. So yeah, he did not do his clients any favors this offseason. They were just asking for outrageous prices.
Mhm.
And well, look what happened. And teams were just like, hell no, we're not giving into your demands. Absolutely not.
What was even more asinine, NFP, was the fact that he countered the Yankees with a 9-year, $270 million offer.
Yeah, and my immediate response was kick rocks.
Crazy.
That was insane.
I'm not giving a 31-year-old pitcher who can't pitch more than 5 innings in a game and more than 180 innings in a season $30 million over the course of 9 years. You're out of your fucking mind.
And to compliment that too, JJ, I'm not going to give him $60 million for 1 year.
No.
You know, I'm not too worried too much about giving up the 2nd and 5th round picks. These guys draft well in the early rounds. They draft well in the late rounds. But I'm
Phenomenally well lately.
Going to be given up. Okay, that's a bigger outlay, a bigger loss, right? 20% of the international money for 1 year of Blake Snell.
Get out of here with that.
I'd rather just go get Thor for 1 year, or trade for Shane Bieber for a year. So
I'd rather trade for Shane Bieber, honestly. If
Yeah,
you're gonna go that
you,
route, I'd rather do that.
Yeah.
And when you look at the international market, the Yankees got to take advantage of that system over the next few years, because I think in 2026 or 2027 it's going to go into a draft. So the Yankees won't be able to get those top international prospects because they won't be picking at the top of the draft.
Yeah.
Like the kid they have attached next year is the number 2 or 3 kid in the class, depending on who you ask. And every year from this year on, they're either attached to the number 1 or number 2 kid in the next 4 classes. And in 2025, they have the number 1 and number 2 kid in their facility right now. So they have some big plans in international free agency.
That's good,
Great
man.
point, Dan.
And one plug, I mean, there's a reason why all 30 teams are not signing Trevor Bauer. I'm not denying he's got a big arm. He's talented. Obviously, he's won a Cy Young, but the baggage that will come along with it is the reason why he hasn't been signed by anybody yet. Not even for the league minimum. You know, it's a big gesture to say I'll play for the league minimum, but that's also an admission saying I know I'm coming with baggage, so I'm paying for the dirt. I'll pay for nothing. So, I you know what I mean? I can't see the Yankees bringing him in. I can't. I can't.
Doesn't he still have 2 open investigations up against him?
Yeah, 2.
Yeah.
That's
both go to.
You know, what if you bring him in and, like, let's just say, you know what, I'm going to pass on Bauer. I'm going to pass on Montgomery and bring in Bauer because he's cheap, right? And then what if he's found guilty of something in July, right? And then he has to be unable to play, suspended, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But you also missed out on Monty at that point. Now you missed out on 2 guys. So I don't think that's a risk that the Yankees or a lot of other teams are willing to take.
You could take the risk, right, when he's making league minimum, right? Him making league minimum, cool. If something pops up in July and has to leave for the rest of the season, you could eat that for the rest of the year. It'd be a difference if this guy was like Blake Snell and you sign him 1 year, $30 million with that penalty with the luxury tax, another $30 million, and then something happens, he gets injured. Now you got to eat $60 to $65 million for the rest of the season. It's a lot easier to swallow the league minimum as opposed to $65 million.
Financially, yeah, but I would never pass on Snell to sign Bauer. I wouldn't pass on Montgomery to sign Bauer. You know what I mean?
I agree.
In that situation, I would never do.
Bauer is a known clubhouse problem. And if you look at the chemistry on this team that we've seen so far this spring training, it's been phenomenal. I don't want to bring in somebody who could possibly disrupt that.
We have rebuilt that chemistry, like Dane said. It's not worth the risk. I'd rather leave the chemistry alone.
Roby's saying he struggled in live at bats with a guy from Barcelona.
Yeah. I saw that.
Yeah, I saw that video.
Yeah, he's still throwing in the 90s, but 90s is like batting practice in major leagues. These guys,
I don't.
You know,
like you said, Jason. Nobody's gonna deny his baseball talent, but it's
no.
the extra baggage. Maybe in the month of August, if he's cleared, of any of both of those charges, maybe in the month of August or September, a team may take the gamble with him, or maybe next year. But right now, with those two open cases that go to trial in July, no
Too
team is gonna
risky.
touch him.
Yeah, it's too risky. I do think if he gets signed by somebody, it should probably be a small market team where it's not a hornet's nest like New York or in New York,
Yeah.
Boston, Chicago, LA. Like it would be so much more extrapolated. And again, you're dealing with a hornet's nest here in New York, in the Bronx.
I think Baltimore would be a really good fit for Bauer if they were going to sign somebody.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean,
I
he
don't
could
think
also go to
Ripken.
Tampa
I don't
Bay
think
if he
that
wanted.
new. Yeah, I don't think
I
that
don't
new
think that new
ownership
group would bring him in.
Yeah, that
Not
new
the
group
new
with
ownership.
they don't want to stain anything with their new reputation.
Good point, Hector.
Yeah, it's true. And again, like, do you want let's bring him around to other teams? If you go to Boston, do you want Devers answering questions about this guy every day? Do you want Cole answering questions about him
No.
every single day? Like
No.
it'll bring headaches to valuable players.
Here's a random team for you. What about the Milwaukee Brewers?
The Brewers, yeah. I mean,
I got a better team, right? Talk about a team that will take a gamble on somebody making league minimum. First of all, if this team was to sign him, their jersey sales would probably be through the roof for the first 2 months of the season. And I'm talking about the Oakland Athletics.
I knew he was going to say
the Consul
I'm
Yetis
just
in the house.
saying.
What's up, Joe?
Tom Hagen's in the house.
Yo,
Silvio
what it do?
in the house. There he is. Texas Buckeye, the king of Texas is looking for you. Now the prime minister of Texas is here. Yeah, but that's a great Oakland A's. My God,
The Oakland A's are such a dumpster fire; they might actually take that chance.
Bro, I'm just saying, if the owner wants to get the eyes off of moving to LA, this is the perfect storm right now. Bring in Trevor Bauer and let him be the circus show that allows you to move to LA.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that Matt Olson is no longer there and Sean Murphy and those guys are no longer
Yeah.
there.
I wanted Matt Olson so bad.
No, he was my number one for first base, man.
Yeah, Jason and I had been talking about that for a hot minute, and we both wanted Matt Olson
Oh God,
and Sean Murphy.
Sean Murphy too.
But-
Yeah,
Sean Murphy would have been nice to have.
Yeah,
both of them would.
A good hitting catcher, a good it's just a good overall catcher. And Matt Olson's a beast.
And the top prospect that the Braves sent to Oakland, Christian Pache, he's on the Phillies. He's not even in Oakland anymore.
That's right.
I thought he was massively overrated.
That was the that was the number one rated prospect that went in that trade, and he's not even in Oakland anymore.
True.
Hey, NFP, we should get Christian Pache.
Oh God, stop it! Are you turning it to LI?
Dan, you had a
question?
No, I was just going to ask what you guys have thought of the young arms that we've seen this spring. Will Warren, Clayton Beeter, Chase Hampton. Have you guys gotten a chance to watch them? What do you guys think of them so far?
I saw Hampton and I saw Warren, and then I saw highlights of Beeter. I'm very excited for all three of them. I think they're really going to be nice additions to this team. I also think that if Warren continues to pitch really well the way he has been, he could very well win the number 5 spot.
I like that he's latching himself onto LeBron Guidry too.
I really like that, Jason. That's a good call.
I think Warren,
kind of his maturity, his willingness to kind of grow, and that's the kind of a thoughtful gesture. It's kind of a Garrett Cole gesture to me, in my opinion. So I like that he's attached himself to Guidry.
I was going to say, I think Warren gets called up, honestly, like in the middle of the season. Because I was, saying that, okay, maybe he could crack that number 5 spot. But I honestly think he'll get called up in the middle of the season. Or if somebody in the rotation, God forbid, gets hurt, then I could see him getting called up to fill in that role. So
Yeah,
Carlos,
I like all three of them, right? I'm
Yeah.
really impressed when it comes to Clayton Beater. I think he has the
Yeah.
filthiest stuff out of the three of them when it comes to his breaking pitch. But I think Chase Hampton, I really like his mechanics. And his mechanics are like spot on. I think he probably has the chance to get to the major league faster than the other two, just because of his mechanics and how he pitches out there on the mound. I like Will Warren just because, Jason, you remember we interviewed him. Kid has a good head on the shoulders. Great conversation. But I'm really impressed with Chase Hampton. Just don't give them no corny ass nickname like we did with like the Killer Bees and like Jabba, Ian Kennedy, and like Phil. Don't give them no corny ass nickname. Just don't do that. All right. Don't do that.
I don't think that we'll see Warren before May 15th
I would agree too.
because of the extra year of control. He's not on the 40-man yet, and that will make a difference to the Yankees.
And to your point too, I think this is a good reason why they have guys like Luke Weaver here. So you can ease guys like Will Warren in. You don't have to throw him to the wolves right away. You can get him the year control. You can bring him up in June, and maybe he'll throw 120 innings instead of 180. And that would be a more logical transition for a guy like Will Warren.
Right. I agree.
So, because 120 innings in AAA is not the same as 120 innings in the major leagues.
No, it's not. But he's gone 120 plus innings 2 years in a row. So he's built up where he can handle innings. But again, like you said, it's major league innings are far more stressful than AAA or AA innings.
Which is
so
why
that's
I
a
think
really good point.
It's a benefit to have a guy like Luke Weaver who can be a swingman, who can protect guys like Warren, who can protect guys like Nestor Cortez. Who, if we're worried about him getting hurt because he's had issues elevating his innings and recovering afterward, this is a guy that can protect both of these guys. So I think the Luke Weaver was probably an underrated but a pretty valuable signing for the Yankees.
And we had heard that Blake wanted Weaver back very badly. That he was a really big fan of him last year. And that was someone he wanted no matter what. So
I'm glad he brought him back.
I am too.
Hold on. Is JJ put it in the chat? Is his father Jeff Weaver, former Yankee, former major league pitcher?
No.
I don't think so.
I don't think there's any relation there.
They would have been mentioned it or said something about it if that was his father.
Well, here's a funny little fact. I'm watching the LSU Louisiana game on TV, and the pitcher pitching for LSU, his last name is Guidry.
Guidry? Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Gavin Guidry.
Speaking of LSU, watch out for Paul Skeens, man. He's with Pittsburgh now. He's good looking pitcher, man.
He hit 102 in either live batting practice or a game the other day.
It was a game against the Orioles, and he was pitching to Jackson Holiday.
Him and Mitch Keller, man. It's a pretty formidable one too.
It is.
So they have a lot of good. They got a lot of good people coming through LSU, man. They really, really do. It's an impressive. It really is impressive. But I don't want to keep you guys much longer. We're running an hour and a half right now. But I got to thank you guys for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Of course.
Thanks so
much. Absolutely.
Valuable insights. If anybody in here is not subscribed to the Ford Train Express, to Dane Huber, okay, it's not to Hector and Morning Brew Sports, Knicks Morning Brew too. If you happen to like basketball, he's part of an elite Knicks panel, okay, best Knicks panel out there. And then you got NFE right there, Strike Zone. You see this right here? This is what sexy looks like, okay?
That's a fact. Hey, also, I just want to let everybody in the chat know, April 4th, right? This is the most random former Yankee that you will ever meet. But if you want to get an autograph, if you want to get a picture, come down to Woodbridge Brewing Company April 4th to meet former Yankee Jose Canseco. April 4th at the Woodbridge Brewing Company. I'm so serious. If you want to come, Jose Canseco is doing an autograph meet and greet at Woodbridge Brewing Company. It's a great time. Besides the meet and greet, Woodbridge, they have amazing food. They have amazing drinks. So come on, have a good time.
I'm waiting for Steve Barboini to come there. I'll show up for that.
Can I ask about what your guys' thought is about one more guy before we get out of here?
Yeah.
Sure, what's up?
Spencer Jones. What have you guys thought of him this spring?
I mean, I looked his stats up from the spring, for spring. The kid is hitting 625.
He's seen 67 pitches and not swung and missed in a single one. He's made contact on every swing that he's made so far. That's an impressive change.
So happy
The only
Cashman and
strikeout
Howe hung on to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was gonna
I'm
say
very happy.
He had a strikeout before last year, so this is a big adjustment for him.
Yes, it is. He
Yeah.
was over 30% last year.
Yeah.
The only strikeout he had this spring training was on a 3-2 pitch that, if you were to look at it, the umpire, it was a little bit outside. So, that was a walk in my book. But yeah, I said it in the video that I made for him. If you guys didn't see it, go check it out. I think he's untouchable, right? Unless it's
absolutely,
like I said, a clone copy of Garrett Cole. I'm not trading Spencer Jones, right? If Corbin Burns had 3 years of protection, cool. I'm trading him for Corbin Burns, but I'm not trading Spencer Jones for Dylan Cease. Dylan Cease, if you trade for Dylan Cease, he's not as good as Corbin Burns. You're not trading for him because he's as good as Corbin Burns. You're trading for him because he has 3 years of controllability.
Yeah.
Dylan Cease is a number 3. On any other rotation, he is not worth Spencer Jones. And I'm not discrediting the fact that he has struck out over 200 guys the last 3 seasons and has pitched over 200 innings. Not discrediting that, but he is not worth a Spencer Jones.
Yeah. What's your take on him, Dean? What are your thoughts?
I'm really excited. The fact that he's not striking out means that the bat path has changed a little bit and he's developed a more patient approach. If he does those things and is able to lower the strikeout rate down to the low 20s, he's a star. I mean, you don't get that kind of defense, that kind of speed, that kind of power from one player very often. He is incredibly special.
Very true. Very true. And again, and I don't know what you guys starting to think are, but there is a chance they've given him a first base glove, and if he can improve his infield defense, there is a chance he could be the first baseman in the near future. The reason why I say that is because it's the easiest way to get him and Jason Dominguez in the lineup at the same time once Dominguez is healthy. That way, neither one of them is blocking the other guy, right?
Right.
You don't have to choose between Dominguez or Jones. You can have both. And again, that's a great way of not only replacing Rizzo when the time is right, but also complementing Judge and hopefully Soto. So could you imagine that, a prime Dominguez and a prime Jones with these guys? I mean, that would be a just murderous row type lineup.
Don't forget, in the minors, he stole 43 bases, and for someone his size to do that is just unheard of. I mean, that's not human.
I'm excited for Spencer Jones. I'm excited for Spencer Jones. So
I want to see.
Go ahead.
I want to see Dominguez, Soto, Judge, and Jones in that order in 2025.
Yes.
There you go. Dan, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was really about to say that. When it comes to Spencer Jones playing first base, I think that's a way that you can save his body because he has that speed. He is 6'7". So somebody with that type of build is not supposed to move that fast. So if you have him at first base, you don't have to worry about him having to patrol center field or left field. You're able to save his body, and you're able to have a nice weapon to have as a first baseman. Not only does he have power, but he has the speed as well. This is a guy that was clocked from home base to third base the same time like Ellie De La Cruz, 11.6 or 11.7 seconds.
11.1.
That's crazy.
It's 11-1. He had 2 triples in the same game that were 11-1.
Yeah,
same game.
Dude, he's built like Stanton and he runs like Billy Hamilton. That's a rare thing, man. So I don't know how the hell they found him. I mean, they got lucky. He fell to them.
They did.
So the other thing I was going to bring up too was Spencer Jones. As far as his height and playing first base, right? Think of Richie Sexton. He was 6'8", and he played first base.
He makes a great target.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just that came to my mind. I'm like, these guys are roughly the same height. I mean, Jones has got a better bat, I think, but
Great example.
yeah. But I
I'm
think
a love going to Somerset games this year. It's literally a 30-minute drive from where I'm at. I'm a love
nice.
going to see the Somerset
Yeah.
Patriots this year.
But no, I'm excited for Spencer Jones's future, man. I don't Spencer Jones is untouchable to me, along with a few of the other players. And to Hector's point, what he said, you trade him. If you do trade him, it's got to be like a Garrett Cole type of starter. But
Yeah.
they got to come with years of control. Not for one. I want like 3 years of control if we're gonna get a caliber pitcher like that.
I already told you who I would trade him
even
for.
2 NFE. I can live with 2 years of control. I'm not giving you Spencer Jones just for 1 year of control, and then we lose you the next year. We got a window, right? All jokes aside, when we talk about Juan Soto, right? We want the Yankees to re-sign Juan Soto, but when you look at Aaron Judge and Garrett Cole, we have a 3-year window to maximize them in their prime. After 3 years, Garrett Cole and Aaron Judge are not going to be the same players like they are right now in 2024. So we got to be able to maximize that right now instead of when they start regression, because Father Time is undefeated.
Do you think that having guys like Dominguez and Jones and Wells and Volpe and all the young players that are coming would actually extend the window, because they're going to be ready, hopefully, in 2 or 3 years to play bigger parts on this team? You don't need Judge and Cole to be Judge and Cole when you have good grief, Soto, Dominguez, Jones. Chase Hampton's going to be a big factor. Henry Lalane is going to be a nice piece. I mean, that window is going to stay open, in my opinion, because of all the things that we have coming.
When I bring up window, I don't bring up window when it comes to the team success, winning with the team. I'm talking about Garrett and Aaron Judge being as productive as they are right now. We're going to be able to have that for the next 3 years. After 3 years, they'll start regressing because of their age. But I agree with you, Dane. When you look at the talent that's in the minor league system right now, this is the most loaded the minor league system has been over the past 20 years, maybe even over the past 30 years. Right, when you look at what is down there right now, granted, prospects, the lottery cards at the end, lottery tickets at the end of the day, you just hope your ticket hits. But a lot of these kids look promising. You bring up Henry Lalane, and when me and Jason first talked, the first time we ever talked, that was a young kid that I brought up when the Yankees first signed him. So I'm very excited about what they have at the minor league level.
I think
Dane, you forgot one other person, Dane.
Lombard.
LaGrange.
I'm not as high on
sold on him?
No. The mechanics are inconsistent. The delivery isn't repeatable. And there's some effort to it. He needs to be able to repeat the mechanics more before I get too excited. The thing with Lalane, why he stands out to me, is the command is already 60 or better on all of his pitches. The mechanics and the delivery are consistent and repeatable. You don't see that at somebody who's 6'8" and 19 years old very often.
True. I do think Cole's going to age well, and I think Judge will eventually take over Stanton's spot at DH, which would kind of transition him to take care of his body a little bit more too. So I do think that the window could be a little bit more, could be a little longer in those regards. Especially with these young guys.
Fair point. Fair point. Agree.
But we'll see. It's got to happen.
Just one other thing.
Yeah,
go ahead. No, go ahead. Go you.
No, I was gonna say I'm glad you guys are talking about the prospects, because I'm doing a live stream tomorrow, noon Eastern Standard Time, and Dane's gonna be on there with me. So
all right,
we're gonna talk a lot about prospects, and of course, like, I want to get Dane's take, and I'll leave it at that.
What prospect has impressed besides Spencer Jones, because that's like the hot sexy prospect? Besides him, what other prospect has impressed you guys this spring training?
TJ Rumfield. He's taking very disciplined at bats. He's throwing walks on close pitches. He's doing things that a lot of prospects don't necessarily do. And as a bigger guy who hits from the lefty side, he's kind of doing these things, and it's noticeable to me.
Everson Pereira for me. If you saw that shot that he hit the other night,
Yeah.
I'm liking stuff from Vivas, and I liked what I saw from Beater. Honestly, like I did like what I saw from him when he pitched against Miami. So
He's at
I was
98.
very happy. Yeah. Yeah, I was happy. So yeah, I was happy with Beater. I liked some of the stuff that I saw from Warren, So Warren is the guy that I'm like looking forward to seeing. I really do want to see him. So
George Lombard Jr. for me.
Okay.
The fact that this kid just got drafted last year, I think he is going to be a phenomenal player. He's grown 3 inches and added 25 pounds this offseason. He was a full-time soccer player before in high school, so he's never concentrated on baseball. And you can tell he's a coach's kid. He does everything mechanically sound, fundamentally sound. And I think the future is very bright for him.
Serious opposite field power.
Yeah.
Yes.
It does.
Yeah. He just has a different presence to him this year, as opposed to last year. If you saw any of his footage from last year when he was at low A and stuff. But when it comes to George Lombard, do you think that he would stay as a shortstop, or could you see the Yankees moving him to like a third base just because of how his body and frame is changing right now?
I believe he is a third baseman long term. He's just a bigger kid, and he's going to continue getting bigger and stronger. And Roderick Arias is the better shortstop defensively of those two.
Yeah,
So,
and he has the arm to play third base too, George Lombard. It's not like
he
doesn't have
does.
the arm strength.
He does. He's got a 65 grade arm.
A very good arm. Mm-hmm. Yep. JJ wants to know, why don't we draft Roger Clemens' children for their DNA? I don't know, man. I don't know, dude.
It's the George Stein brothers box, John.
Yeah, dude is a beast, man. I still think he should be in the Hall of Fame. So I don't know about you guys.
So do I.
Yeah.
So do I. I think him, Barry Bonds. I think you can't tell the story of Major League Baseball without mentioning Roger Clemens, Barry Bonds, Alex Rodriguez, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire. You can't talk about baseball and not have them in the conversation.
They resurrected the game, man. They resurrected
after the strike. How many people were turned off by Major League Baseball after the strike? They brought it back. They made it fun again.
Yep.
Doesn't Clemens have the most Cy Youngs of anybody?
7 Cy Youngs.
Yeah.
And Barry Bonds has got the most MVP awards of anybody.
7 MVPs. They both have
and
7.
neither of them are in the Hall of Fame. It's a joke.
If the commissioner who oversaw the league at that time, who allowed PEDs, is in the Hall of Fame, those players should not be banned from the Hall of Fame. If Ty Cobb is in the Hall of Fame with a lot of the shit that he did, no one should be in the Hall of Fame.
True. And Clemens never failed a drug test. He never failed a drug test. He never failed. He won every lawsuit that was levied against him in the courts. He never lost any of the lawsuits. So that, to me, his witness, Brian McNamee, was discredited multiple times. So, and yeah, I'm perplexed as to why he's not in the Hall of Fame.
Hey, Jason, bring up Brad's comment. There was a comment directed at me. I know he's just messing around, but.
And if he's live streamed tomorrow, it'll be another LI research program.
Don't worry. I'm listening to Dane, but I'm not going to use his words for nothing. Don't worry about that.
Hey, well, NFE, you didn't see the article that dropped today. According to you, LI Yankee King said the Yankees are getting Blake Snell. This is according to NFE from LI Yankee King.
That we're getting that I said.
No, I'm joking. I
was going to say. I was like, this guy's out here making up lies about me.
Hey, he said that I wanted Juan Soto at first base. I was going to unalive him.
Yeah, Juan Soto at first base. No, we'll put Aaron Judge at shortstop, Giancarlo at third base. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. He said He said Dane said on every 6th day Garrett Cole will be the closer for the New York Yankees because it's his birthday day.
And then we'll put Ben Wardfett in right field.
What the hell?
You guys like my adjustments that I'm making to this team?
Fantastic.
Promote me to
Yeah,
GM, guys.
We need
Yo,
Manny.
I'm starting the petition right now, NFE.
Hey, NFE will put DJ in center.
No, you're gonna extend DJ. We're extending DJ, putting him in center
until he's 45.
Don't worry. The Yankees, our backup catcher. We gotta get Greg Berg, and we're gonna convert him into a backup catcher.
Go get him from Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's raking down under there? He's raking in Australia. Yeah. JJ, I agree. Pete Rose should be in the goddamn Hall of Fame. So
Yeah.
Pete Rose, like, my God. Yeah. But they wanted to make
Before,
it unfortunately. So
Jason, before you do wrap up, for those who don't know, I do scout high school baseball as well. Dane can tell you all about that, and if you, exactly.
Need prospects for luck.
Oh God.
Jesus.
He is clowning.
Can take it. Oh, good Lord. All right, you scout players?
But yeah, I do scout high school players as well. If you guys want more information on that, hit me up about it because I've shown Dane some stuff that and it's a lot of fun, and I can get into it with you guys if you have questions about it, and I can tell who's got good ceilings and who are just going to be projects. So if you guys have questions, please hit me up about it.
I was gonna say Mazza sent me a few, and I was pretty impressed. I was like,
So
"Whoa,
was I.
okay.
I saw him.
Yeah."
Keep it up, man.
I gotta see that, Mazza. Send it to me. A nice kid. Before I get out, I just want to say this. Someone that you guys should look out for. I think this kid's gonna be amazing. Gary Sheffield's son. He has a son that I think is in high school right now or about to go into college. Dane probably knows better than I do. But his videos are amazing. He has the same stance like his father, the same swing, the training videos that you see with Gary Sheffield and this kid, the insight, the knowledge that you get from Gary Sheffield. It's you could tell that Gary Sheffield in another lifetime was a hitting coach in the major league, the way that he breaks it down, son.
Dude still hits softballs on your feet, man. He's crazy. The big cigar.
Miggy's kid.
Oh. Yeah. Foul diver.
Miguel Cabrera. Okay, so there's another one out there, and that's Miguel Cabrera's kid. He's 11 years old with exit velos up to 90 miles an hour.
That kid, he's already playing with 15-year-olds.
Yep.
Damn. Is he swinging a tree trunk yet, or what? Like some of these other guys?
Yes, he is.
That little boy, he looked like Bam Bam from the Flintstones. That's what he looked like.
Jesus.
Bam.
Yeah, but yo, fellas, I gotta get out of here just because I got an early flight. Jason, I appreciate you,
brother.
If you have any live streams while I'm in Florida, let me know. Send them to me. I'll jump on as many as I can. I'm gonna be going live crazy this week with coverage outside of Georgia M. Steinbrenner Field. Dane, again, I wish you was coming out with us this week, but we're gonna catch you next year. NFE, appreciate you. Mikey Mazza, salute to you, my brother. Jason, appreciate you like always. Shout out to the chat.
Hector, safe travels, brother.
Safe travels, Hector.
Later, bro.
Safe travels, bro.
Morning Brew Sports, gang. And make sure you support Strike Zone. Make sure you support Fort Training Express. If you want the highest level of prospect insight knowledge, Dane's your man right there. He's the guy you want to be listening to on a regular basis. You want to learn about the Yankees and the Yankees development, the Yankees farm, he is the man to go. He's the Yoda.
My partner Carlos isn't phenomenal as well. Hey, there's
Carlos
no me without him.
Okay? Yeah. So, again, make sure you're supporting these folks. If you're not subscribed to them, please do. Okay? And it says you would not be disappointed. If you want to learn, you want to continue to get the best Yankee content, these are the guys you want to be listening to. So,
I was gonna say for Mazza, He's 2 away from 500, folks. So come on. If you're not subscribed, let's get him. Let's get him there.
People in here. There are 2 people in here willing to subscribe to Report Trading.
I'm on the road to 500 right now, but let's get Mazza there.
Let's get Mazza there tonight.
Let's get him there tonight, gang. It's greatly appreciated. We really thank you so much. We work very hard to get this, get great content out to you on a regular basis. So we want to support these guys as much as possible. So, with Dane, Mike, and Afi, I can't thank you guys enough.
Thank you for having us on.
Thank you.
I appreciate all your knowledge and insights and your perspectives, man. And I much love to all you guys. Go have a great night. All of you in the chat, thank you so much. Hit the likes on the way out if you don't mind. It's greatly appreciated. Make sure you catch NFE's live stream tomorrow and listen to the rest of the boys too. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a great one. Talk to you next time.
Have a safe night, guys.
Deuces.
Have a good night, everyone.
Thanks.